After 25 years of silence, one message changed everything. Michael Jordan's high school girlfriend came back into his life with a single request. Some say he owed her nothing. Others say he owed her everything. But when Michael Jordan finally answered, his decision didn't just help one woman. It sparked a controversy that divided the internet. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Dive into what really happened. 25 years. That's how long it had been since Michael Jordan last heard her name. And just seeing it again made time seem to stop. It was late evening. The charity event had ended, the cameras were gone, and the applause had faded. Michael sat alone in his quiet office, the city lights glowing softly through the tall windows. He loosened his tie, ready to disconnect from the world, when his phone suddenly vibrated on the desk. An unfamiliar number. He glanced at it briefly, prepared to ignore it like countless others. But then he saw the message, and froze. "Hi Michael, it's Angela. From high school." For a moment he didn't breathe. Angela. A name buried deep in memories he hadn't touched in decades. She wasn't just someone from the past. She was part of a time before fame, before championships, before the world knew his name. Back then they were just teenagers, sharing laughs in empty school hallways, sitting on gym bleachers after practice, talking about dreams that felt impossibly far away. Life had moved fast after that. College, success, pressure, and distance slowly pulled them apart. No goodbye. No closure. Just time doing what it does best. Separating people. And now, after 25 long years, she was reaching out. Another message appeared. "I wouldn't have contacted you if I didn't truly need help. I just need one favor." Michael leaned back in his chair, his thoughts racing. He hadn't spoken to her since the day he left for college. Why now? Why after all this time? And what kind of favor could survive decades of silence? After a long pause, he typed just 3 words and pressed send. "What do you need?" At that moment, Michael had no idea that this simple reply, sent in quiet privacy, would soon ignite public controversy, reopen old debates about loyalty and responsibility, and divide opinions across the internet. Sometimes it only takes one message to wake the past and change everything. They agreed to talk the very next day. When Michael heard Angela's voice, it was no longer the confident, cheerful tone he remembered from high school. It trembled, not from excitement but from years of exhaustion. Life had taken her down a road far different from the one she once imagined when they were young. After high school, Angela married early, believing in a simple, stable future. She became a devoted mother to 2 children and spent years working multiple jobs just to keep her family afloat. Long shifts, missed weekends, and endless sacrifices became her normal life. Then came the divorce. Painful, unexpected, and financially devastating. Soon after, serious medical issues followed, piling hospital bills on top of everything else. One setback led to another. Now she was facing foreclosure. The house she had struggled so hard to hold together, the only sense of stability left for her children, was slipping away. She made one thing very clear: she wasn't calling for fame. She didn't want attention, interviews, or sympathy from the world. What she asked for was simple but heavy: financial help. Just enough to save her home and give her a chance to start again. Michael listened in silence. As she spoke, she gently reminded him of moments from the past. How she used to wait outside the gym during late practices. How she helped him study for exams when pressure was high. How she believed in him when scholarships were uncertain and the future felt fragile. "I never wanted to ask," she said quietly. "But I don't know who else to turn to." Michael felt torn. He was known for his fierce competitiveness and deeply private nature. Over the years, he had donated to charities, supported communities, and helped complete strangers. But this was different. This wasn't a public cause or a foundation project. This was personal. This was the past knocking on his door. He finally told her he needed time to think. But before Michael could make a decision in private, something unexpected happened. The story leaked. And once it did, nothing would remain private again. It didn't take long. Within just a few days, the private story turned into public chaos. Headlines began flashing across news feeds and entertainment sites. Michael Jordan's high school girlfriend asks for help after 25 years. Should he help her? Is the past owed anything? What started as a quiet, personal moment quickly became a global debate. Social media erupted. On one side were people who felt the answer was obvious. She believed in him before the money, they argued. She stood by him when he was nobody. Helping her shouldn't even be a question. Others strongly disagreed. She's not his responsibility, they said. Success doesn't come with lifelong obligations. The past is the past. The comments grew louder and crueler. Some accused Angela of using his fame to solve her problems. Others accused Michael of being cold-hearted and selfish for not responding publicly or immediately. Every move he didn't make was judged. Every word he didn't say was analyzed. And Michael said nothing. His silence, meant to protect privacy, only added fuel to the fire. Talk shows debated it night after night. Radio hosts took sides. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds filled with strangers who had never met either of them, yet felt entitled to decide who was right and who was wrong. Behind closed doors, away from cameras and opinions, Michael struggled with something far deeper than money. This wasn't about how much he could give. It was about principle. If he helped, would it be an act of kindness, or would it open doors he could never close again? Would helping one person turn into endless expectations from the past? As the noise grew louder, Michael realized one thing. No matter what he decided, someone would call it wrong. And that made the choice heavier than ever. A full week passed before Michael Jordan made his decision. During that time, the noise outside only grew louder. Opinions flew from every direction, and expectations were placed on him by people who had no idea what the situation truly meant. Yet Michael did what he had always done under pressure. He stepped back and thought carefully. Then quietly he chose. There were no social media posts, no carefully written statements, no press conference filled with flashing cameras. Instead, Michael met Angela privately, away from the spotlight. The conversation was calm, honest, and deeply personal. Michael listened one last time, not as a global icon, but as the young man she once knew. When he finally spoke, his words were simple and firm. He offered to pay off her debts. He agreed to cover her medical bills. He promised support for her children's education. But there was one clear boundary. "This isn't because of who I became," Michael told her quietly. "It's because of who we were." He made it clear that this help would remain private. No interviews, no public appearances, no future requests tied to the past. This wasn't charity for attention. It was closure. Angela was overwhelmed. Years of stress and fear finally began to lift. Grateful beyond words, she respected his wishes, at least at first. But emotions are powerful. Unable to contain her relief, Angela later shared a message of gratitude online. She didn't reveal numbers or details, but she confirmed that Michael had helped her. The internet reacted instantly. Some praised Michael for his quiet generosity and restraint. Others criticized him for helping only one person when millions struggled. Once again, opinions clashed. Michael remained silent. For him, this was never about public approval or winning another debate. It wasn't about proving anything to the world. It was about closing a chapter of his life with dignity, fairness, and integrity. On his own terms, weeks passed and slowly, the noise began to fade. The headlines moved on. Social media found a new argument. The controversy that once dominated conversations quietly disappeared, but the lesson it left behind remained powerful. Michael Jordan didn't help to erase guilt. He didn't help to silence critics. And he certainly didn't help to buy praise from the public. He helped because kindness does not come with an expiration date. The entire controversy revealed something deeper about society itself. We spend so much time debating what successful people owe others that we forget the true meaning of choice. Kindness loses its value the moment it becomes forced. What makes it meaningful is the freedom to say yes or no. Michael chose to help, not because he was pressured, but because it aligned with his principles. He set boundaries, protected privacy, and acted without seeking recognition. In a world where generosity is often performative, his silence spoke louder than words. Angela rebuilt her life quietly. The weight that once pressed on her daily began to lift. With stability slowly returning, she focused on healing, on her children, and on moving forward, without spotlight or spectacle. Michael returned to his world much the same as before. The championships, the legacy, and the fame were unchanged. Yet those close to him noticed something subtle. He seemed lighter, as if closing that chapter had freed a part of him he didn't realize was still open. Some stories aren't really about celebrities. They're about humanity hidden behind headlines. And sometimes the most powerful answers aren't loud, dramatic, or viral. They're quiet choices made in private, doing the right thing when no one is watching. Because success may change your life, but character reveals who you truly are.